everyone, and welcome to Lake Erie College Fine Arts Focus. From the campus, I'm your host, Professor Paul Gothard, Director of Fine Arts. Stay with me for the next quarter hour as we take an in-depth look at the activities and productions, personalities, and programs of the fine arts at Lake Erie College. Beginning with today's edition of Fine Arts Focus, and continuing for the next few installments, your commentator will be my colleague, baritone Andrew White, who teaches vocal music at Lake Erie College. Dr. White would like to present an educational series on the music of Hugo Wolf. 2003 marks the centennial anniversary of the death of this great art song composer. And now, Andrew White.
Thank you, Professor Gothard. The Viennese composer Hugo Wolf was primarily a song composer working in the genre known as the Lied, a German-language art song with a tradition that spanned the 19th century. Coming to the genre as he did at the end of that century, Wolf has been credited with bringing the genre to its zenith. While such claims may be debatable, he certainly updated the genre with the naturalistic declamation and progressive harmony that were hallmarks of the newer style. Perhaps we can determine how, or even if, Wolf advanced the genre of the Lied by comparing his songs with settings of the same texts by some of Wolf's illustrious predecessors. Lieder texts are generally pre-existing poems written with high literary intentions, but in a lyrical or song-like style. The first poem we will consider is Mitternacht, Around Midnight, by the famous German lyric poet Edvard Mörike. Calmly the night climbed onto the land, leaned dreamily on the mountain wall. Its eye now sees the golden scales of time, its balanced trays quietly resting. And boldly the springs rush onward, they sing into the ear of Mother Night, of the day that is now a bygone day. That age-old lullaby, she disregards it, she is tired of it. Sweeter to her sounds the blue of heaven, the even swinging yoke of fleeting hours. Yet the streams carry on with their speech. In their sleep the waters sing forth of the day, of the today that is now a bygone day. First we will hear this atmospheric poem in a setting by Robert Franz, a noted lieder composer, 45 years Wolf's senior. My collaborator in this performance is pianist Dominic Intili.
Bedächtig stieg die Nacht ans Land, liegt träumend an der Berge Wand. Ihr Augen sieht die goldene Wange, der Zeit im gleichen Schall stille Ruhe. Und Ecken rauschen die Quellen hervor, sie singen der Mutter der Nacht ins Ohr. Und Tage, und heute der Riesen Tage. Das uralte Schlummerlied, sie achtet's nicht, sie ist es müd. Ihr klingt des Himmels neue süße noch, der flüchtigen Stunden gleich geschwungenes Joch. Noch immer behalten die Quellen das Wort, es singen die Wasser, die Schwachen herfort. Um Tage, heute gewiesen Tage.
Note the demonic character of Franz's setting. For Franz, midnight is the witching hour, a time of mystery and danger, of communion with the spirit world. His was an era of fascination with the supernatural, when nature was something to be feared and respected. Evil lurked at night, and the day brought comfort, safety, and the light of reason. Wolf's setting bears some similarity to Franz's in that it too is in a modified strophic form, essentially the same music for both strophes of the poem but with some modifications, and it is also in 12/8 time. Wolf's melody often rises slowly, stepwise up the scale, as does the second phrase of the Franz song, Lehnt träumend an der Berge Wand. Like Franz, Wolf begins his setting in the ominous minor mode, but unlike Franz, Wolf blossoms out into the brighter, more optimistic major mode by the end of each strophe. Internal key areas likewise are brighter in the Wolf song. For Wolf, night and day are more like those of Act II of Wagner's Tristan und Isolde. Day is associated with the mundane and the trivial. Rational thought shackles the emotions and stifles the true self in the daytime. Night is the longed-for time when the passions are set free, and the true self is revealed. Note also how Wolf characterizes the never-ending song of the stream, with shimmering undulations in the piano part throughout the song. Here again I am in collaboration with pianist Dominic Intili. The scales of time and the even swinging yoke of the fleeting hours here are treated with optimism and fascination, while darker hues characterize the song of the day as rendered by the streams. Nevertheless, all is resolved in this depiction of the fall of midnight. All is peaceful and serene. With the day now gone, that which was amiss is now put aright. So we have an example of how two composers can conceptualize the same text differently, and how the different eras of the two composers can influence their conceptions. Join us next week when we will compare Wolf's setting of a poem by the greatest of all German Romantic poets, Johann Wolfgang Goethe, with a setting of the same poem by the first great lieder composer, Franz Schubert.
Thank you for joining me this week. Tune in next time for another look into the fine arts at Lake Erie College. This is your host, Professor Paul Gothard. I'll see you then.